Hello, this is Paul Pawa, the Group Strategic Development Director at the Norse Group. You are listening to Inside Norse, the podcast series where we delve into the inner workings of our group. With that in mind, I'm really pleased to welcome Daniella Barrow. Daniella is our Senior Director for Norse Consulting. Welcome, Daniella.
I did a surveying degree at uni many years ago, and it had a sandwich placement year, and I got a placement at South Yorkshire Council, and I hadn't appreciated back then that councils had surveying departments, surveying teams, which was, I just thought they sort of did, schools, education, road maintenance and, waste collection. So when we look at property, it's very sort of cyclical, right from sort of bringing a property into use, looking at what that service is needed for, what property does it need to deliver the service, for example. So we can look at how we plan that, how we look at feasibility through to designing. And then we can oversee, if it's a new build or a refurbishment, how that's constructed and then put into use. And part of that, then it sort of falls into our estates and asset management teams to look and support clients how to manage and use the assets the best way, the suitability of those assets, the condition, it all falls into that in-use piece. Right through that, we can also support, clients to, if that assets come to the end of its useful life, what do we do next with it? A lot of clients are looking at their portfolios, how much it's costing them to run, but also how much carbon in use. Yeah. And what can they do to better that so they have a lower footprint within their areas, and there sort of lies the challenge. Yeah. There might be some aspiration around what a client's doing with its portfolio, but the immediate need means that some of it has to be projects may have to be put further down the line, because they don't have the finances to resource it at that particular point, although they know they should. It would potentially give some revenue savings. So it's that balance between what do we need to spend now in the here and now, and what should we be spending to invest in the future. And bringing the different councils together, depending on how the devolution deals work, will maybe help to address some resource capacity.
Yes.
But then it's around that expertise and skill sets within that. We're finding in the property area in particular, we are struggling to sort of see new people come into disciplines such as architecture, engineering and surveying. So the skill sets is quite in short supply. And that's also then replicated within the public sector. So organisations such as Norse that are well established, that have the footfall of staff in these areas, we can help support and promote those skills within local authorities. And when I first started on my surveying degree, there was probably 2 or 3 women actually on the course. And when I first got my first placement, I was the only female in the office. That sort of from that surveying background. So, it's certainly balanced out a lot more now. However, it's still a challenge. And I think there's a lot of perceptions around working in property for females. If you think about construction, it's typically very stereotypically, rugged, out on site in all weathers, does the workplace culture, historically it's very male centric, so it can feel a little bit intimidating for women. And, issues such as sexism, lack of inclusion, unconscious bias, has probably potentially further exacerbated that problem. I've done sort of work around being a STEM ambassador in the past, and that's sort of encouraging, women and young girls, as well as, other young people to sort of really sort of embrace STEM subjects. And I think it's seen as probably a limited awareness of where those subjects could take you into your further career. Yeah. From my perspective, you need to see it to be it. So if you can't see those senior women, how do you know that actually is that something I could aspire to? And I was found, in terms of who could I see as a role model, sometimes wasn't always there, so you did feel a little bit of a lone ranger. But I think that's certainly changing. There's, I'm seeing more women in senior positions in not only local authorities, which seems to have got a very nice balance, but I think in property, we're starting to see it in pockets.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Daniella. I really appreciate you joining me for this episode. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. That's been great.
You're welcome.